Welcome to Holistic Horseworks Talks. Join us with founder April Love as we talk about equine care. Learn what you can do to keep your horse happy, healthy, rideable, and sound through their 30s. Have a question you'd like to submit to the podcast? Just email April at HolisticHorseWorks.com for a chance to get it featured on the next episode.
Hi, this is April with Holistic Horseworks, and this is all the amazing information that I want to share with you today.
So, April, do you have any stories from your students where they experienced your program firsthand?
You know, we had a student in a class, and no matter how many times I told them, do not hard tie the horse to the corral panels that are loose and only tied to the posts with baling twine, this one person kept doing it. And all of a sudden something walked by in front of the horse and spooked the horse. And she shot backwards. The baling twine snapped. So now she's hard tied to a 10-foot corral panel. It's flying through the air through the horses and she's dragging it. And it hit one of the students in the head. And you know how head wounds are, bleed a lot. And so they took care of the horse and I took care of the student, and I sprayed the release on it. And all of this is in my book to immediately take down the trauma of the wound before you're going to get the big swelling. And then I did the dynamite liquid trace minerals straight in, which cauterizes the wound and stops bleeding. So then it immediately turns black and like a scab, but he's got blood everywhere in his hair. So then I'm having to wash to see where the wound really is, because it really coagulates all the blood. So you might have blood everywhere and the cut might only be like an inch long and an inch wide. So after I stopped the bleeding, then we hot packed it with the tea tree oil and trace minerals like I do for the horse's wound, and just slowly wash through his hair. I mean, we're laying in between pallets and hay. We're still out at the barn and his head is in my lap. And I'm like, do you trust me? He's like, yes. I said, okay. And we cleaned it all up. And it was really small. And I did more release and more of the hot packing. And so that we'd stopped the bleeding, taken the immediate trauma down, and cleaned it up. And then when he went to the local doctor, we're talking farm, clinic down the road, and he was like, I'm just going to staple you. And no local sedation. He just put 3 staples in the guy's head. I don't know if he was upset that we had taken care of it and didn't send him in with this guy dripping blood down his arm or something. And you could hardly even see it. There was hardly any swelling. That's what the dynamite release does. So his wife had come and took him just, in case of concussion and all this and that. And he was back in class the next day. He says, I'm going to sit out. I'm not quite feeling 100%, but we're all looking at his wound. And because we got the dynamite release spray on it, immediately he didn't have the green yellow bruises and the trauma and the swelling and the trace minerals turning it like black, like a day old scab. And everybody's like, wow, that looks like it's about 10 days old instead of happened yesterday. And then we were taking pictures of it going, oh, look, cool, staples. Of course, out in the barn, you're not going to go to that member site, but that's in my Horse 102 book, what you want to get on the wound right away. So it's really nice to have those kind of tools and, for people to have a place to go to, because everybody was like, oh my God, what do we do? I was like, come here. I have a little protocol to do on you if you trust me. And he's like, yep, I trust you.
Yeah.
It was a really good lesson on what to do for how not to hard tie horses to something. And what to immediately get on the wound, kind of in what steps.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Holistic Horseworks Talks with April Love. Remember to check the show notes for links to all the resources mentioned in this episode. Have a question you'd like to submit to the podcast? Email April at HolisticHorseWorks.com for a chance to get it featured on the next episode. Loved this information? Share it with your horse friends. They'll find it helpful too. To learn more, visit HolisticHorseWorks.com. And before you go, make sure you have a copy of our free ebook, Horse 101, Everything You Wish You Had Known Before You Got Your First Horse, at HorseAcademy101.com.